Welcome to A Lunch with Biggie, a podcast about small business and creatives sharing their stories and inspiring you. My guests today are the producers of the DeLand Indie Market and Sanford Indie Market, but they're also the owners of a shop in Downtown DeLand that specializes in interesting houseplants, home decor, and vintage goods. Please welcome the owners of Newfangled Modern Market, Courtney and Rusty Hamil. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Biggie.
Hello.
Long time no see. Actually, not entirely true, but long time no see on the podcast, we'll say.
Yes.
Because I have seen you recently, which has been great. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I wanted to have you guys on because, Courtney, obviously I had you on originally many moons ago. You were one of my first guests to talk about DeLand Indie Market, but I know you're working on something new. So I kind of, and you have a new shop. So I wanted to have you and Rusty be able to come in and talk a little bit about it and share that story. But obviously, as the first thing I always like to ask is, what's your go-to lunch or sandwich?
You start with your sandwich.
There's so many good sandwiches, man. I like a good chicken parm. I know it's kind of basic, but you can't go wrong.
Where do you get where's your favorite chicken parm that you usually get?
Ooh. That's kind of tough. There's so many good ones. I like Dobro's, actually, right here in DeLand. Dobro's pizza place. They got a pretty sick chicken parm.
What about you, Courtney?
Yeah. I just had an amazing chicken parm from Bake Chop, which is in Artisan Alley near our shop. They were running a special the other day. It was really good. So that's my most.
Oh yeah, with the bolognese.
Yeah, it's good. Very good.
So you both are chicken parm people?
I love chicken parm too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I do like Manzano's NSB. I like that one. That's a good one.
That one's a good one. I got introduced to them because of you guys. It's funny because when I go to a pizza shop, like my go-to order is, if I go to a new place, basically this is like my I guess my litmus test of like whether I'm going to go back or not. I order a slice of cheese pizza and a chicken parm sub. So like I figure, like, if you can't make a good slice of pizza and if you can't make a good chicken parm, then I'm done with you, because those are the two things I enjoy eating at those places. So I'm like, if you can't make that, then it's kind of over for me. So I appreciate the fact not enough chicken parm love out in the podcast or anyone else. So I appreciate anyone.
Well, I got something for you.
What you got?
We got a little spot that we go to here in DeLand, and they have a chicken parm pizza called the Uncle Junior, and you might want to look into that sometime. Anthony's.
I like that.
Anthony's.
Nice. I like that. I love a good chicken parm pizza. Those are delicious. That and a buffalo. I'll even do a buffalo chicken pizza, but not as good as a chicken parm. I like a good chicken parm. Wait, out of curiosity, and this is horrible because I love talking about food. When the chicken parm pizza, because obviously the cutlet's already fried and all that stuff. So does that make the cutlet even crispier and crunchier on the pizza?
It's not too crunchy.
Okay.
They do a good job. So
okay.
Yeah.
They don't burn it.
It's kind of sliced up thin.
All right. So let's not talk about, we're not talking about food. I want to talk about Newfangled Modern Market. So let's talk about this, because I know we're in version 2.0. So let's talk a little. I want to kind of go a little bit backwards to then go forward. So I want to know, you opened the first version of it in 2010, and just recently, I think was it November-ish with 2024, you guys opened the new version of it. So tell me a little bit about what the original version of it, and then what can people expect or kind of see, tell me the origin story of how did you guys go from opening one in 2010 to closing to then going, I want to open a new version of this in 2024?
I'm gonna let you field this one.
Okay. So yeah, opening the first space, we did primarily we started as men's clothing mixed with vintage, more like furniture pieces, home decor, whatnot. And it just wasn't the right time. We were open for a few years. We just decided that we were kind of done with it. And we're so involved with the markets by that point that we just focused on that. And then my friend Blake, that you know, who has a hair salon in Artisan Alley, said he was taking over the space next to him for a boutique, and that front space where we are presently was going to be available. So I was like, I just want to look at the space, because I'd never been in there before. And we walked in, and it had beautiful tin ceilings, and you could just see that it was going to be something, or could be something really cool. And I just said we are going to open up something. And Rusty's like, no, we're not. And I said, yeah, we are. So, and we didn't know what we were going to do. We just took the space kind of just because it looked, I could see the potential. So we had no clue what we were doing at all.
As usual.
So, so when that happened, what was the path to leading you guys to go like, okay, because you guys do obviously a variety of different house plants and different plants. You do home decor and then you do vintage goods. So there is some elements of previous Newfangled. So I could see why it's a version 2.0. What led you guys to go, hey, I think this would be great with plants, or great plants to sell plants here?
We didn't have a plant shop in downtown DeLand anymore. There's like florists and whatnot. We both like houseplants. Not that we're experts by any means in anything, but we just thought, why not do that mixed with the vintage, elements, and that's how it came together.
So Rusty, what was the buy-in on this? Because like you guys, I mean, let's talk in the sense that you guys have kind of, once you guys decided you weren't going to do the markets anymore, every time I saw on social, it was just literally you guys traveling, going somewhere, doing something. So what was kind of where did you kind of go, okay, yeah, I think this should work? Or was it pretty much like Courtney said, this is what's happening, and you're like, well, I guess we're leaning in and we're doing it?
Yeah, that's the latter is more how it worked out. I was like, she said, I want to rent this space. And I'm like, what, are you crazy? I was like, let's sleep on it. And we slept on it. And the next day she goes, yeah, I really like that space. I want to do something there. And so I think the space really kind of like was the catalyst of, drawing us into recreating or improving upon our original concept. And then, the plant thing was kind of a no-brainer, really. There just isn't anywhere like that in town. And so we wanted to fill that void and also offer, something different and unique for the community.
And we love being involved in the community and doing things. So in the space too, we do different classes. We have yoga once a month. We do wreath making classes, moss wall art classes, bouquet classes, terrarium classes. We're doing our first paint and sip class coming up. So just when we want people to come in, we're not the ones hosting it. We just provide the space, and then they come in and the different people from the community come in and do classes. So it's fun. We just want to make it a community space and let everybody enjoy it. So we're always open to, if somebody wants to do an event, let us know. You can come in, set up shop. Today, we have somebody popping up in our store, which, of course, we love Stephanie from Goat Solutions. She actually should be at the shop soon. So we just love people coming in and popping up with their wares as well on Friday nights during the farmers markets. Just, it's a fun space. We have no clue what we're doing.
That you guys obviously say, oh, we don't know what we're doing, but you guys do, because obviously, Rusty, you have experience. I know you had experience, doing with the vintage shops and stuff like that. Plus, you guys have done with the first version of the business. But I do think that it's interesting that you guys have gone into the world of plants. And I know even Rusty, you've gotten really big into it, because like the one time we were talking, like you also are providing not just like your typical hey, I need like a nice little house plant. Like you're providing a spectrum of plants, meaning from like the high end stuff to kind of like something that I would want, because I kill every house plant in my house. Like my house plants in my house are all fake, unfortunately, because we kill everything inside our house. So tell me a little bit about that journey, about you learning and kind of going into it, and then also enjoying it and liking it, because I think that's also something that you guys have now started really getting into and getting in more involved with plants.
Yes. Well, Courtney was always the plant person in our family. She took care of everything on the inside of the house. I took care of the outside. So I was never, I appreciate them, but I was never that really interested in all the different varieties. And so I just was never really, it was not even on my radar. But since we opened the shop, I have discovered that there are so many amazing plants out there. And when you shop at a regular nursery or Lowe's home center or whatever, they have a good variety. And there's a lot of plants that are, pretty easy to take care of. Even you could take care of it, Biggie. I'm telling you. But there's also a whole world out there of just rare plants or collector type plants. And I think as a person who likes to collect things, I think that appealed to me. Seeing some of the varieties that are just really exotic from, Southeast Asia or the Amazon jungle. And then you can buy it in a pot from our shop and take it home and take care of it and watch it grow. I think that's really kind of what appeals to me with the plant thing.
I love that.
And he has an excellent memory. He has a very good memory too. So he remembers every name of every plant, even the Latin. No, I can't remember any names of plants. I know how to take care of plants, but if you ask me, I do sound, I'm like, I have to go look at the label.
She gets mad at me.
I'm not mad, but I have a very hard issue. I can't remember things at all. And he remembers everything.
We were at Epcot yesterday, and I was like, oh, look over there, it's a Farfugium japonicum. And she's like,
I know what that is.
She just rolls her eyes in the back of her head. Like,
so I have to ask, because I've read this. When you guys water the plants or anything like that, do you guys by any chance talk to the plants or do anything? Because supposedly plants do have feelings, is what I've heard and through research and stuff like that they can and whatnot. So I was just kind of curious if you guys actually talk to them or do anything like that or play certain music. I don't even know if there's certain musics that are good for plants and stuff like that, but I'm just kind of curious
like
what
metal.
You guys have. What was that? They like metal?
They like metal, yeah.
And classical. We play both.
We play
a little classic metal. I like that. Orchestra metal. I think that kind of works very well. I think that's a good little mix. I love that. What have you learned from the first time you had a brick and mortar store to like now to this new iteration in this new version? Like, have things changed? What's been like the biggest like learning curve for you guys, or what have you guys learned that's been different from the first time to this time? Because some time has come across from the first time to now being open with the new shop.
Well, I say technology is different from 10 plus years ago. Our point of sale that we use helps us just keep track of all the inventory, and it has functions for loyalty programs where you can come in our shop, and when you buy something you get a point, you get a couple points collected up, and then you get a discount on your next purchase. So things like that are tools that we did not have at our disposal before. And now, it's just kind of a commonplace, everyday thing. I think that helps out a lot with us, especially with reporting data, all that stuff. We can track, our sales and our expenses and everything a lot easier than we could back then.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably the main thing. And other than that, it's still the same game. You buy and sell, And so we're, that'll never change. That's always just finding the cool things that nobody else has. That's where it's at.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I've also, one of the things, since you guys, because of the fact that you guys have the shop, I noticed you guys are starting to do more events and showing up at events. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, like where the thought process was for you guys to want to do that. And then talk a little bit about that.
I think with opening the store, we wanted to get our name back out there. So setting up at these markets is important for, marketing purposes, as well as hopefully selling, just letting people know we have a bigger space that provides, even more plants, even more vintage. So just getting ourselves back out in the community, letting people know, where we are, and just sharing what we're doing with everyone is pretty important. We're popping up a lot throughout the holidays too, just, taking that opportunity this time of year to really hit the ground running. We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, so word of mouth is important. Social media is super important, but, face-to-face meeting with people in different areas, I think is important. And we want people to come and see how cute this town is. It's not a far drive or train ride on the Sunrail. And actually from the Sunrail station, they actually drop off. There's a Votran that runs for free right into Downtown DeLand. So they drop you off right by our shop, and then you can hop back on the Sunrail, and I think it's like a $2 charge for the ride back on the Votran or something. But it's very accessible, so we just want people to come not only to our shop, but just to DeLand in general and support, the community and all the local shops and whatnot.
Since you guys, okay, so having I'm always like curious under your perspective as someone who actually has created and done very successful markets. What trends or what have you seen? Because obviously you guys went from doing markets, like actually producing, hosting markets, to now being part of markets. Have you noticed any trends or noticed any difference, or things that you've kind of are seeing more of now that you are now in the market scene, where you guys are now vendors at a market? I'm always intrigued because you have a different perspective than I do, because you've seen it from the other side. So I'm just kind of curious, like, is there anything that you've kind of gathered or gotten from being now in doing markets and stuff like that that you think is like changed for the good, the bad? I don't know anything. I was just kind of curious on your perspective of it.
I'm this is just feedback. Hopefully it doesn't come across as negative. But after last weekend, we were set up at a market. I was just talking to fellow vendors and a couple that have been with us for a million years with our indie markets. And just, we always want to talk about what's going on because we're new back in the market game, so I've asked them how things are going, whatever. What most people are saying now is they feel is there's an oversaturation of markets and it's hurting the vendors because they're getting, these markets are just too often, too many competing on certain days, and there's just not enough foot traffic coming in. So frustration to them is the fact that maybe there's just too many going on, and vendor fees are, pretty high in some of these markets too, which, that's hard for people. We actually haven't changed our prices in years. Maybe I should, but, we want to make it fair to everyone too. So I think, there needs to be more communication between the markets maybe, or collabing if you're close by, that way you're really retaining a crowd instead of spreading it too thin where people, the vendors are suffering because there's just too much happening, too many happening. So other than that, I love seeing all the new things that people are doing, and there's so many amazing creatives out there. It's very inspiring to see old friends meet new vendors, and it's doing markets is fun. I'm happy to be back. He tells me we have to limit them.
Yeah, 'cause you don't have to load the truck. I like the markets just because I get to hang out with people like you, Biggie. Shoot the bull.
I love the fact that you guys are at markets and I get to see you guys. I just like it even if I'm not even selling at one. I get to see you guys and hug you guys, and the more I get to see you guys, the better, because you guys are great people. So I appreciate that. You both. So just to kind of clarify, just because I know you guys just don't do the shop, right? I mean, you both are successful in your own fields as well. So are you guys not doing the shop full time, correct? Like you're doing it, the shop is full time / also like you're almost like, let's just say you're doing 2 full times. You have like like a regular, or is this full time your thing?
It's full time for me. He still has his real estate job as well.
Okay.
Mondays we're closed. We go plant shopping on Mondays, and then usually Thursdays we are not in the store either because we're doing estate sales. If we're not there, we're still out hunting and finding
working.
Things.
You're still working. You're just not there at the shop, but you're still doing things for work. So yeah,
correct.
Okay.
Can it really be considered work? I mean, basically, how cool is it just go through a huge, greenhouse and just pick out like specimens of plants that are just super interesting? I mean, it's not really a job. It's,
But I love hearing that, because I also know that you, Rusty, is like a collector. Like those are things that you like, the estate sales, finding cool things, different things. And then now you're adding the collection part of plants. So it makes sense that you guys, that it's like, it's still work, but that's why I was always kind of curious on how you guys have always been able to balance all of this, and be able to do all this. I talked about events, and obviously I brought up the idea of the DeLand and the Sanford Indie Market. And I know you guys stopped it for a little bit, stopped the Sanford because there was construction and things going on. And I know DeLand kind of stopped, and obviously we were all very sad about it because it was, and I'll backtrack just to kind of go with the statement of what the topic of events and all those things. I do agree with you in the aspect that there is some form of oversaturation. There's multiple people creating opportunities and events. And it's hard when you're trying to, if you're listening to this, trying to figure out like the, like there is no roadmap of like what's the go-to must-have events. Because back in the day when you guys did DeLand and Sanford Indie Market, there was like maybe 3 or 4 events, like big events going, like 3 or 4 people doing coordinating events, and then all of you guys would talk about it, and so you guys would coordinate, so that way you guys would actually like it was great, because it was great for business, because I knew that you guys weren't trying to like overstep on each other. If anything, you were trying to provide more opportunities for all of us. And now it is becoming a little bit harder because you're trying to figure out where things kind of fit. So with that said, and all the hard work that it took, because you guys have grew a huge following and a huge events, what made you guys decide to end DeLand Indie Market? And then also, what now made you decided to bring it back when you guys do it December 7th, in December 7th in DeLand?
Well, the indie markets were my full-time, it became a full-time job, because between Sanford and DeLand, that was 8 markets a year that were curated. So, hundreds and hundreds of emails coming through, sorting through, it was full-time gig, except like teachers, summer's off because it's too hot to have the markets. But, so that was 12 years. I just was ready for a change and wanted to do something different. I really didn't know. I mean, I started working at 14, service industry, never really stopped. And I just kind of wanted to figure out life. And he told me to take a beat and figure out what I want to do next. And so I took a couple months off. Not really. I was started freelancing, doing events for other people. But the reason we're bringing it back is because of people like you, Stephanie, like old school vendors that, just we miss terribly. And, from setting up at markets with you guys, hearing how much you missed us and how much you wanted us to come back. And that felt really good to hear, because you guys become like family, we start getting to know you all. And I've missed that. I've missed seeing, all our people. And that's really the reason why we're bringing it back, is just because we missed everybody. And we do like what it does for our community. It brings a lot of people into the area, and it generates a lot of money for the other local shops and restaurants and bars and whatnot. We enjoy doing that as well, and hopefully it's a success. Let's fingers crossed. We won't go back full time with it for sure. It's going to be maybe once, maybe twice a year, nothing like it was, and it is smaller, keeping it a little more intimate, at least for the first couple, to see the balance of the shop and the markets. We changed it to where we just invited 65 past vendors, just because I wanted to, again, make sure I was balancing life and not, getting involved in the submission process, all that. So that's how we're starting it back. But who knows? It could change.
What are your thoughts, Rusty? I know you.
Well, she's been known to change her mind every once in a while. So.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just whatever she wants to do, I'm on board. I'm just the workhorse.
I love you. I will say, I mean, obviously, I will say that it is a great opportunity as well for you, because like for you guys, because it's another way for people to come and see your shop, which is another great marketing aspect of it. But it also is something, like you said, like I do miss DeLand. Like the only times I ever went to DeLand besides that was when UCF would like play Stetson in something, and I would go up to go do that. And like, there's a lot of great stuff about, being in DeLand and seeing that. And that was something that I enjoyed. I enjoyed what you did, because it was not like, it doesn't have to be in Orlando. It could be somewhere else. And so I think that's something that's going to be, it'll be exciting. It'll be fun to be able to go back again and see people that I would see, at least 3 or 4 times a year, that would come and just even walk by and be like, oh, what's new in your shop? And like, they would like want to look at what's going on and new things that they wanted to see, or just be able to talk food and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great event with what you guys are doing. I think I'm hoping that it's something that becomes very successful, and it's something that at least you do once a year, even if it's a once a year thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's always one of those where, people love a good holiday market, especially if you when you plan it right. So I think I'm excited. I'm excited to be invited and to be able to be part of it with you guys. As someone who's been doing this and then on a long journey, having to figure out, kind of going through the ebbs and flows, what advice would you give someone for wanting to start something?
Well, honestly, you got to find something that you love, whatever it is that you're really interested in or into, and then try to make your business about that. I love antiques and vintage, and I've been doing it for, a long time, and I'm not going to say how long, since I was a kid, really. But, I love that. So that to me is like, it's the treasure hunt. That's what I love to do. And that's, whatever it is you're interested in, just dive into it and make it, make it something that makes you happy, but also that you can be profitable and enjoy doing.
I'm going to just agree with him. No, I think, I would say, maybe come up with a plan, but I don't believe in that. I don't make plans. It's impulse. So.
How do you guys, is there like an ebb and do you guys keep each other in check? Is that kind of how it's been able to do? Can you guys come up with stuff, especially like when Courtney's like, I want to do this, like who's the more analytical one? Who's the more free? You know what I mean? Like, so one's like you're both creative, but like one's like, okay, we're going to go do this. And then who's the one that says, okay, this is like the pen to paper. This is how we're going to make it actually work.
Be me.
So she's the free spirit, and you're the one, like, you're also free spirit, but you know what I mean? Like, you're the one that kind of grounds it and says, well, this is how we're going to have to be able to do it in order to do it. Yeah.
She's the dreamer, and I'm the logistics guy, of the dream. So it's pen and paper, tape measure, and then we sometimes have had quite a few fights about it, just, how to like line up vendors in a space or whatever, or we've had differences of opinion that sometimes got a little heated, but we always kiss and make up afterwards.
I love that.
I just tell her she's right, and then,
Man, he's going to get
it's
it
all
out
good.
of this.
Then everything's good. Everything's good then. Where can people follow you guys? Where can people go online to shop? If I don't think you have an online shop. I think you have it mostly on your socials. Yeah, correct. Yeah, but you do have your socials, and obviously better to shop for plants in person, because then you can fall in love with them and learn more about the names and what they are and how to take care of them from Courtney and Rusty. You also have another person that's really into plants. What's her name?
We have Charlotte. She's amazing. We're very lucky to have her. She is so knowledgeable. So she can give you all kinds of information when she's there. She's just a lovely human. We're really lucky to have her on our team, and we're quite a little family. So very grateful for her.
And where can people follow you if they're as they're listening to this? It's going to be in the show notes, but if they're listening and as they're listening to it, maybe playing around on Instagram, where can what's the Instagram handle so they can kind of see what's going on in the shop?
Newfangled Modern Market 2.0, because we had to start a whole new Instagram account because they deleted our last one because I tried to change the birth date to our opening date the first time we opened, and then they flagged me as underage, and I was like, no, here's my ID. So we had to start all over again. So Newfangled Modern Market 2.0. And then also Rusty has a separate one for the Vintage Vault, which is
Vintage Vault.
Let's talk about that, because I didn't know about that one. So tell me a little bit about the Vintage Vault Newfangled.
Oh, well, you'll have to come check it out. In our early 1900s building, we have a serious vault, like a bank vault in the shop. And Courtney said that I'm allowed to put whatever I want in there as long as I don't have it out on the floor. So I filled it up to the brim with lots of really interesting and cool vintage items. Vintage Vault Newfangled.
We do have vintage on the floor. It's just what he wants to put in there.
What, Rusty, as a collector, is there something that you've collected for years that you've just always collected through the years, that you have amassed a huge collection of, big or small? I'm just kind of curious, if there's something that you like for me, through the years, I could safely say now, being the sandwich guy, I collect a lot of sandwich stuff. But I'm curious on your part.
Yeah, right now I'm really into mid-century Italian ceramics, Batassi, specifically Albino Bagni is one of my favorite artists. So I've been collecting a lot of that. But I've always kind of gone through phases of collecting. I used to have a doorknob collection, then I had a skeleton key collection. I've had poison bottle collection. Collected tiny little rulers, it's just things that I'm just drawn to them when I see them, and then I collect them. And then sometimes I just get tired of collecting them and I get rid of them and start collecting something else. I don't know. It's probably like a disease.
Addiction.
But I mean, I keep telling her, I was like, it could be worse,
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are you keeping all this in the vault? Like the stuff that you no longer collect, is it now in the vault, or is you just have tons of storage somewhere that you're just storing all this stuff?
No, I don't have massive collections of anything.
Okay.
Like
You have a storage unit.
I do have a storage unit, but it's part of it's all my musical equipment, like amplifiers and stuff like that, which I need, but I don't use as often as I probably should. And then there's stuff that I'm gonna sell eventually, but I might have to fix it up or clean it or do something like that. So yeah, I do have a collection of stuff, but it's not necessarily things that I want to keep forever.
Courtney, do you collect anything, or do you have any like other hobbies besides obviously running a business?
She collects old decrepit dogs.
I know. I'm like, one of them's driving me crazy right now. Like, oh girl, stinky old dogs are my jam. They're just everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. No.
She doesn't know. She likes to collect like 4 different water cups.
Dude, I call those. I jokingly call my wife. So I've bought Kristen like 2 or 3. I bought her because we drink Owalas. I actually left my Owala in my car, so I'm drinking out of a regular cup. But that's usually what I drink from, and that's all I drink from. So like so that way I have no other cups or anything like that. But Kristen does not like. I've even bought her for when she drinks coffee. I've bought her like Owala versions of it for coffee, and she does not. So all she does is I literally jokingly tell her, I'm like, it literally looks like mug shots, like literally mugs, a whole bunch of mugs in the car, because she likes to drink and drive with a mug when she drives. And I'm like, what are you doing? So it's one of those where yes, and the water cups on our nightstand. They love nothing like a good water cup in the nightstand. I don't know why. So I feel you.
I like vintage barware. So like glassware, decanters. So that I collect that. So, but that's about it. Hobbies would be being a grandparent now. That's all I want to do when we do have time off is hang out with those cuties. So I'm enjoying that new part of life. So it's pretty cool.
I know travel still plays a big one. Like you guys love to do enjoy some traveling. I know. It's funny because I get kind of jealous because you guys go to New York quite often. A lot of times I notice.
Yeah, just to go eat.
Yeah, just to go eat, which is kind of what's on. I still haven't pulled, which is kind of crazy that I haven't done it with my family yet. So it's on my list. But I think a lot of it is because I want to go to other states or other places. So then I'm like, oh, I want to go somewhere I've never been to before. And so then that's kind of where it kind of goes. So no, I get it. Thank you guys so much for being on. I really wanted to just be able to kind of have folks know about the new shop, have them know that you guys have something, I love the fact that you guys are so connected to your community, especially like in of the city of DeLand and are all about building that community. That's something that I've always loved and admired about you guys, because the fact that you guys created these markets and did these markets, I'm very, very, I'm very honored to be able to get to know you guys and build that relationship because of it, and what you guys have done. And so I kind of wanted to just make sure that people got to hear your story, know that you guys have opened the new shop, have the ability to go and see and visit downtown and see other places that are out there, because I've learned about a whole bunch of different vendors and people because of you guys, just because of my interaction with different vendors there, the places in DeLand. I just literally talked to, as you talking that you like vintage barware. I just talked to Atomic Drinkware, literally, on my last episode. So, that's kind of one of those where I'm like, I love the fact that you guys are connectors is really what I consider you guys, to connect to different people. And I just want to make sure that I can try to help connect other people to you guys.
Thank you.
And kind of see what you guys are doing and what you guys are up to.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Biggie. Really appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We also Facebook is Newfangled Modern Market. And then DeLand Indie Market has an Instagram and Facebook as well. So just DeLand Indie Market.
And we'll put all of that, and we'll put all the different Instagrams on the show notes and tag them when the episode comes on. So you should be able to see it. That's our show for today. Thank you so much to Courtney and Rusty of Newfangled Modern Market for being on and being my guest. Definitely make sure I promise you that when I do go to the shop, I will be buying a plant for, and I I will hold you to the fact that I will keep it alive. I definitely, I definitely will. But no, but thank you guys so much. Definitely, if in the DeLand area, or if you want to do something on the weekend, or even on a Friday night. I know sometimes you guys are open at night, and there's usually like a little market.
Friday night, the Artisan Alley Farmers Market. So we're open till 9 every Friday night, playing jams, hanging out. So come hang out in the shop. It's very relaxing. There's couches. Buy some plants. Buy some vintage. Hang out with us.
Yeah, have fun and do all that. So yeah, definitely make sure to check them out. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe, tell your friends about it. If you want to support me, check out my brand, Deli Fresh Threads. Thank you. Until next time, keep eating sandwiches and follow your passion. Thanks, everyone.
All right, big.